Welcome everybody to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be having a look at LINK. This is going to be a lower time frame video. Don't forget to check out our higher time frame video pinned up above if you haven't already. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on. Before we jump into the lower degree count here, we're going to talk about a couple of those higher time frames from the video that we talked about in the beginning. Effectively, what we could be looking for here is a C wave to the downside, where I'm still looking out for this potential of this 1618. And within this idea, what we'd be saying is that actually this is a fourth wave into this high here, and potentially we could be looking at forming a diagonal. Now, the probability is already less because this would be an expanding diagonal here, where this is 1, 2, 3. Now, the problem is with this fourth wave, there is a couple of ways we can look at this move. We could potentially argue that this is A, B, and C up into this high, in which case we could be looking for this move to the downside. Now, for this to validate, we'd have to see a move down past this 459, because this wave 5 would have to be longer than this wave 3. So this is the 1-to-1 of that wave 3 off of this current high here. Now, it is also possible here that this move could be A, B, and C, and for as long as we stay below this 880, we do have the threat here that we could see a bigger sell-off coming, looking to push us down. And what that would be looking for as a potential target would be this 461 to this 368 level. So going to be keeping an eye out on this. If we do, however, start to push up above this invalidation point, there is still potential for some downside to come in here. And the way that we'd have to then start looking at this as a move would be potentially looking at this rather as a Y wave here, looking at this as an X, and then still looking for the potential of this Z wave to the downside. Now, within this idea, what we could argue is that if we do form A, B, and C to the downside here, and we move past this 4 and 5, this could be enough to actually complete this move. But we'd have to be very careful that if we do form this as an ABC pattern where we look to push down towards 531, any kind of a three-wave retracement could actually indicate that this is becoming a bigger corrective pattern, where this could actually just form our A wave, and then we see a B and a C later on. So this is going to be the danger here, that if we do form this move to the downside, if it doesn't hit that target for that diagonal, then we need to be open to the interpretation here that we could still be looking at something like this, or alternatively that this is still within the X wave. Now, if we are going to talk about this still being within the X wave, what we are saying is that we still have potential to move back up here to this 0.236 to this 50% level. This would be the most common zone for a complex correction. Now, if we are looking at this, what I would be looking out for here is the potential that we could still see this move play out as W, X, and then we're looking for another three-wave move here to the upside. So our 1-to-1 is actually this 858, and if we do see this push back up into this zone, this could be enough to complete this as a Y wave here. We have done enough that even if this completes into this point, potentially this could be enough. But if we're looking at the size of this as a W, X, and a Y, it would make more sense if this still is within the Y wave. Now, if we do surpass this 858 region, some other targets up here would be 986, 1074, and this 1233 as potential upside targets here, where we could still see this Y wave look to extend to the upside. So we're going to come in here and we're going to look at this idea of the Y wave here. Now, I am also looking out for the potential that we could look at this low point here and say that this could develop as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we need to be on the lookout for a 5-wave structure here as well. If this is going to be a flat, that would tie into that idea here, but it would then potentially look to push up above this 1618 level. So we'd have to just monitor it and see exactly how the waves form. Now, within that idea of the Y wave, we're going to come back in here onto the 4-hourly chart now and have a look at this now. Within this idea, what we'd be saying is that this move to the upside here is our A wave. Now, like I said, we could potentially argue this is A, B, and C. Alternatively here, what I have marked out is that this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually this move here is an extension within the 5th wave. Now, within this, what we'd then be saying is that this is just a 3-wave move to the downside, and we could be looking for the secondary white count. Now, the problem that I have with this is the beginning of this move. It is possible we could argue that this is 1, 2, where this becomes A, B, and C to the downside. Now, if this is a flat, it's reacted in the right way that we want to see after a flat, a nice strong move to the upside. And once again, I'm looking out here for the possibility that we could have an extension in this 5th wave, where what we'd be saying is that this move is 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 up into this high. Now we have actually reached this level here of the 1 to 1 of the wave 1 to 3. So I'm just looking out for the potential that this could look to complete here. Now if this does look to complete into this high, what we need to be aware of is that within the case that this is a corrective move where this is A, B, and C, what we could start to see is a bigger sell-off to the downside play out. Alternatively here, if this is looking at this white count still playing out, what we need to see is that this move needs to hold the support of this white support box here, which is the 744 to the 680. So what we'd then be looking for here is a 3-wave move to the downside where this becomes A, B, and C, and we'd be looking for a deeper retracement. Invalidation would only be all the way down here at the 627, but if we start to lose 680 or this move starts to become too big here, it is likely that, you know, this 4th wave is then not actually what's playing out. Now within this idea, what we'd be saying is that potentially here we are looking for this 4th and this 5th to come. So we'd be looking for a 3-wave move down, followed by a 5-wave structure to the upside, looking to push us into 874 to this 831 level. Now the key thing, if we do see something like this play out, is that if this is just A, B, and C, our 1-to-1 is actually sitting here at this 1003, but this would look to push us back above that 950 level, which would invalidate that diagonal, but not the idea of the X wave. So if we do see this play out as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, what I would then be looking for is to see how we react to the downside. If we get 3 waves down, we need to be on the lookout for the possibility that either the Y wave is extending to the upside here, or alternatively, this becomes 1, 2, and then we have another 1, 2 here, and this would be a bullish setup. So we're going to have to watch the retracement here. If we do start to see a deeper retracement, effectively until we cross 566, we can't rule out the idea that we could get some extension to the upside. Now, coming in here again, it is possible within the structure here that we could still be within the 3rd wave. This is 1, 2, and this 3rd wave could actually be looking to extend. Now looking at the extension idea here, what we could be seeing within the structure here is that this could become 1, 2. We have another 1, 2 here. We have this as 1, 2. Effectively, this would then become 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up into this 3rd wave. And we'd still be looking for some additional 4ths and 5ths to the upside. So the key thing within this count is invalidation of this would be 718 if we move below that zone. If we fail to move below that zone, we need to be on the lookout here that this move could still find support higher up here at this 777 to the 747. And we could just get a 3-wave structure to the downside. If we do see something like this, I'm going to be watching out first off, obviously, the 760, and then the 747 is also going to be quite an interesting zone to keep an eye on. It would be also a retest of this previous 4th wave here, so going to be keeping an eye on that. And if we do just see 3 waves up, and then we get another rally to the upside in a 5-wave structure, this could then potentially confirm this idea of the extension. Now, the thing that I'm looking for here is that if this is 1, 2, and we're looking for this all to become a wave 3, I'd ideally like to see this 1618 get hit here at this 835. If we move up in the yellow count as we have it shown here, this would then align with that idea. And then we'd be looking for another 4th wave and a 5th wave to the upside, which could push us up towards this 884 to this 854 level. Then within this whole idea here, we would still have the blue 4th and 5th. So it's going to be very important here that, you know, if we continue to hold these previous 4th wave areas, so this 747 is going to be our key zone at the moment, we can look at this potentially still extending. And what this would then mean is that from further back here, this becomes 1, 2, this would all become a 3rd wave. We'd get a 4th wave and a 5th wave like this to the upside. And this could potentially look to push us up to some of those key levels where we could be looking for an extension here, where if we do start to move above this level here of this 1428, potentially then we could be looking at a bigger impulsive structure, looking for a bigger breakout here. So this is why I'm just watching out for the possibility of extension here. If we do start to move up to some of those key levels, effectively we could be looking for a bigger impulse here, where what we'd then be saying is that this whole move becomes 1, 2, we get 3, 4, and 5. This is also why I'm saying we need to be careful if this becomes 1, 2, 1, 2, and we continue to hold this low. We could still then see this look to rally and see that 4th wave play out at a later point once we get a push above this level of this 1428. So it's going to be key here how we react. If we continue to hold these lows, we can look for this bullish case, but we need to be very careful here of the idea of facing a rejection somewhere between this 1233 and this 858. If we face that rejection, we need to be on the lookout for the potential that, we can look to break down. We haven't broken this high yet though, so because we haven't broken this high, we need to just be very careful here that if we want to count this move as 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, then potentially this could just be a B wave, which is overshooting here, and we're looking for this C wave. Invalidation of this as an ABC would be breaking back above the high here of this 847, but until we do, we need to just be on the lookout here that we could see a more violent break to the downside here, looking for potentially this 531. We are starting to interact with the top of this channel, and I want to see whether we actually get a proper break out of this. We get support found here towards the zone of the 769, and whether we look to push back away. If we start pushing away from this, then we will be looking for that potential of a retest, and then looking for that possibility of continuation on from that point. So I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video. Leave us some feedback down below, and also in the description you will find a link to the Discord. Come check it out, it is free to join. Everyone have a great day. We will see you in the next one. Take care.